Good morning. I hope that everyone is starting your week off with a thankful heart this morning. We woke up, we're still in the land of the living, and I just want to thank the Lord that He keeps us through the good times and the bad times, and thankful for each one of you. I'm by myself today. Y'all know on Mondays, either Mary and I rotate cooking. So I'm Linda with Pinky Mouse Cakes, Cookies, and Candy, also known as Pinky Mouse Sisters in the Kitchen. So I hope that you got your notification that I'm on. And thank you all for joining me, and welcome to my kitchen. So I am making salted chocolate chunk cookies today. Now, it's been a while since I've made these. You'll notice some of the same ingredients as the pecan, brown butter pecan cookies that I made. I am using the brown butter with them, but these are different. So if you see some of the same ingredients, please don't leave my video and think you've already seen this, because this is a different recipe. So I'm going to get started, but I don't actually want to start on this right this minute because I have a pan of cookies in the oven, and I wanted to have some baked so they would be cool enough that I could bag them, because I'm going to be taking some of these to a couple of people in town today. So I've got all my ingredients out here. I made my brown butter yesterday, and if y'all remember how I did this, this is 2 sticks of salted butter, and I do keep unsalted, but I bake with salted, and I know that some recipes call for salted and some recipes call for unsalted. I bake with salted. That's what I do, unless it's specifically a certain recipe. So this is my brown butter. When you open this container, oh my goodness, that smells so good. You'll see all the brown good stuff in the bottom. So we're going to be using that in just a minute, but I don't want to start and run back and forth until my cookies get done. So in my dry ingredients here, I've got 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I have got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. When you put that in your bowl, make sure you whisk it together. So I don't know if you've ever tasted a cookie or not, or something, and you just got just a big taste of salt or something that wasn't pleasant. That's because it wasn't mixed properly. So make sure you whisk it together. It only takes a second. My buzzer's going off. I'm going to check my cookies, and let's see here if they're going to be ready to take out of the oven. Now, I'm not making these quite as big as I made the others, so I'm only cooking them 11 minutes. And I believe these should be ready. Now, I'm going to tell y'all how to make them, but I'm just going to show y'all what they look like. And I'm going to take them out and let them cool. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'll just leave my oven on, because I'll need it again in a few minutes, because I'm going to bake in another pan. So you want to leave them on your cookie sheet for probably about 5 minutes or so, and then take them off and put them on your cooling rack. This is the spatula that I like to use to get them off. You can use any spatula. I just like this one. This is the one I like to use. So I had it set out here, and y'all will see that I've got a couple. Mike has already sampled this morning, so I've got a couple here, and I don't know if y'all can tell that or not, but you'll see that shiny top on them, and I'll show y'all how to do that in just a minute. I remind myself so much about Pinky Mouse. Sometimes I just want to laugh, because if she was here, she would say, "Oh my goodness, Linda Faye, you sure do take after your Pinky Mouse." And I do. I take after her in so many ways. She was a good soul, and she was a feisty little woman, And even back in the day when it wasn't popular to have, for a woman to have her opinion, my Pinky Mom had her opinion, and she wasn't afraid to tell you either. Okay, so got those out of the oven. Those are cooling. Now you're going to notice when you take this up, and this brown butter does need to be cool. So I would recommend you make that. If you're baking cookies that afternoon, make it in the morning. If you're baking them in the morning, make it the day before, and you can leave this setting out at room temperature. So you'll see that all of the, I'll show you in the bowl in a second, but you can see all that good brown stuff that settles to the bottom. And you want to get every bit of this out of here because you need it all. So I know that we are a stickler for making sure we scrape our bowls good. That's something that Molly taught us, and I've always followed on that. Now I'm going to use the same bowl to break my eggs in. So I'll just, and I need another spatula. I'll just use this spoon here. And by the way, Mary is on the other end watching, and Carla is also on the other end monitoring. Little Linda is still in training. And of course, we miss the whole game when we're not together. And we want all four of us to be together for because little Linda has her job. But anyway, me and Mary and Carla will be together probably again soon after Carla gets through with her health problems. So I hope everybody made it through the storms this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and put, y'all know we are sponsored by Imperial Sugar. And I'm using the Imperial Light Brown Sugar. There is a difference between light brown and dark brown. Dark brown sugar is going to give you more of a molasses taste. So you want to make sure if you're using dark brown that it's something that you want that taste in. I think I've told y'all this before, but Mike used to think light brown was diet, and he was like, well, that's diet sugar. And I said, no, sorry, I'm afraid not. That is not diet sugar. It's light brown in color. So I have 1 packed cup of Imperial Light Brown Sugar, and I have a 1/2 cup of Imperial Granulated Sugar. And I'm just going to pop my mixer on here, and we're going to mix this together. I'm knocking stuff out of my bowl. Totally knocking stuff out of my bowl. I'm just gonna, I had that sugar packed down so much it was in little pieces. I'm not gonna worry about that little bit that I lost. Okay, so I'm gonna break my eggs. I don't like messes. I'm just gonna break, this is 2 extra large eggs, and the extra large eggs nowadays is about the size of a large one that they used to be. In fact, I don't think there's much difference in a large and an extra large. Okay, that's 2 extra large eggs, and I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. If you can afford it, get the real stuff. It's absolutely worth it if you can afford it. If you can't, just get what you can afford. But it does definitely make a difference. Okay, I'm going to beat this up real good, real quick. clumped up. It doesn't usually do like that. It was very soft, but for some reason it clumped. And that's why I kept beating it. Normally doesn't take that long to beat it. So I'm just going to start putting my flour in, and I'll probably put about, I don't know, probably do it in about 3 times, because you don't want your flour going everywhere and flying all over the place. It seems like this mixer's got a lot of juice to it this morning. I'll set down. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more flour. Now I'm going to pour the rest of it in here. I've found that it mixes up a lot better if you do this in increments. This is a stiff cookie dough, and you may ask, why do you have to chill it if it's a stiff cookie dough? But trust me, it is important to chill your cookie dough. It just makes a big difference in the way that your cookies bake. So you absolutely want to chill it. I'm just going to finish mixing this up. Okay, so we got our cookie dough made up, and now we're going to add, and you can do this with the mixer, but I don't, because it's just, to me, it's easier to fold it in. I have a cup of toasted pecans. These are those really good pre-Easter pecans, and I've nibbled on a couple of them, and they are so tasty. I'm going to use 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chunks. I always try to keep some of these in the freezer, because when you start to do cookies, a lot of times I will mix semi-sweet with milk or white chocolate. A lot of recipes may not call for that, but I like to mix them up. So these come in 11.5-ounce bag. Get them at Walmart or any grocery store. So I want 8 ounces of these. Now these are little tiny cute squares. If you want to chop yours, you can. But I don't, because I like the chunks in them. So I've got another package here that I'm going to open, because I knew that wouldn't be enough. And I'm going to put the chocolate in first, and then I'll put the pecans in. So, and this is a lot of chocolate in this recipe. That, you know, who wants a chocolate chip or a chocolate chunk cookie that doesn't have chocolate chips in it, but have 1 or 2 in a cookie? You've seen cookies that maybe you can see 1 or 2 little tiny chocolate chips in them. Well, these are full of chocolate. So this is 8 ounces. And then I have my milk chocolate chips. And again, this is something that I keep in my, well, I keep them in my freezer if I'm not using them often, but I usually keep at least 1 bag out. If you keep them in your freezer, you need to take them out ahead of time, because you don't want to put something cold in your cookie dough. But I buy these big bags at Walmart. You can get them at Sam's, but I don't think Sam's has the milk. I think they only have the semi-sweet. So I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of this to add these in. And when y'all are baking, do y'all find it is so hard not to just reach in a bag and eat a couple of them? I used to always do that. Need just a tiny bit more. Okay. So I'm going to put this aside. I try tried to move some of this stuff this morning so my space wouldn't be so crowded. Now I've got all this stuff here again. But I'm not going to mix this with the mixer because, let me get these out. I'd just rather do it by hand. So I'm going to do this by hand. I guess I can measure these pecans. I'm pretty sure there's a cup in here. I always put extra. And y'all remember, you've heard me say before, don't just dump your pecans in the measuring cup, because sometimes there's little things in the bottom, those little bitter things that come out of your pecans, and you do not want that in your cookies. So I don't dump them in there. I just take them out and measure them. This is going to be a few extra, give or take. I can save a couple to snack on, but I'm always generous with my pecans. I love pecans, and so if it gets a few more in it than the recipe calls for, that's just more good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to pour these in there, and then I'm going to take I need to get some of this out of the way again. Y'all give me just a second here to move some of this. So I woke up this morning, the sun was shining really bright, and now the sun's gone under the clouds and it's kind of overcast, but it's going to be a nice day. It's going to be about 80 degrees here, actually, which is going to be a very warm day. We had such a beautiful weekend after that storm came through, and that's usually the way it is. Whether it's an actual storm or whether it's a storm in life, it's usually, you know, you have a bad day, and then, or a couple of bad days, and then it's just all of a sudden the sun comes out, and it's just a beautiful day. And that's the way it was with the storms this weekend that came through. It left us with a beautiful Saturday and a beautiful Sunday. So, I didn't get anything to do that with, but you'll see that I've got all of my chocolate and all my pecans in there. And I'm going to just take this bowl scraper and I'm just going to fold these in. Now, again, if you want to use a mixer to do this, you can. If it's easier on you, I just like to hand mix them, but certainly feel free to do it however you want to. But there are certain steps in this recipe that you won't want to change. I got an aching back this morning, so I want to stand up. Mary always stands up when she cooks, and sometimes I just have to sit down because of my back. All you young people that watches us, or younger people that watches us, you may think you're invincible, but whatever you do in your younger years is definitely going to affect your health when you get, when you start to age. I used to lift 110-pound sacks of peanuts out of the trunk of the car and physically carry them inside the building where we made candy. And I didn't do that one time. I did this hundreds of times because I was young. I didn't weigh much, but I was young, and I thought that, you know, I was strong, I could do it, and I did do it. But I sure pay for it now. So take care of your health when you're younger, because you won't always be 20, 25 years old. Okay, I'm going to just take a piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to dump this out on my parchment paper, because this needs to chill. And I'm going to kind of work this chocolate and stuff in a little bit more to make sure it's all together. For those of you who make cookies on a regular basis, y'all know what a good cookie dough looks like. That's what a good cookie dough looks like. The bowl should almost be clean when you get your cookie dough out. That is good cookie dough. So now you do not have to chill this overnight. You can chill it for a couple hours and it will be fine, but it does need to be chilled. So I'm going to be using our medium cookie scoop to scoop these out today, which is a little smaller cookie than what I did before. I think I've already said that, so I'm repeating myself. But you can do any size you want. If you want a smaller cookie and you got little small kids, you can use a smaller one, like the 1 tablespoon. But I will tell you that this is going to be a little harder to do a small one because of these big chocolate chunks in it. Like if you did, like if you pinched it off in your hand, and this is another thing you can do. You can actually make your balls and then chill them in the balls if you want to. And that might even be easier for some of you that have arthritis in your hands, because after you chill this, and you're going to see, because I've got some here that's chilled, this dough is extremely stiff. So it takes a little bit of effort to get your cookie scoop in the cookie dough, or either take your bench scraper and cut little blocks, and then you can do it that way. So that's another option for you that might have a little bit of trouble with strength in your hands. But I'm just going to wrap this up in my parchment. And then I usually always stick it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the refrigerator. I got a little mess here. I'll show you how I did. This is just a Ziploc bag, and I'll put it in there. Now, I won't cook these cookies until later on today. And I'm sure everybody's wondering how many this is going to make. I'm thinking it's going to make at least 2 dozen. It could make a little bit more. I've already baked 2 pans this morning, so that's 1 dozen. And then I've got the rest of it out here. So this is about to go in the refrigerator. And I'll move this. Y'all give me just a second. Bear with me. I do not like dirty hands. I'm probably the world's worst. And I know that y'all have heard me say before that I know I drove my little mama crazy when I was a little child, because I do not like dirty hands. I don't like anything on my hands, and I don't like anything on my feet. Okay. So I have got my cookie sheets here. And I've got an egg wash, and I beat this. I actually use the whisk in my handheld mixer, my cordless mixer. This is 1 egg whisk, and then I've got some flaked sea salt, and I've got some coarse or raw sugar. Some people call it coarse, some people call it raw. And there's 2 different varieties of this. One of them is a little darker and one of them is a little lighter. So we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to scoop out my cookie dough. I hope y'all can see that. Can you see it? I hope you can. I can't tell for those comments. Okay, I think you can see it. So here's my cookie dough, and like I said, I've already cooked 1 dozen out of this batch. Now, if you are into making a lot of cookies, I mean like dozens of cookies, I would use a big mixer, and I would double this. And there's cookie recipes that I even make 4 batches at once using my big KitchenAid mixer. So if you wanted to just make a huge batch, you could definitely double it And that way you would have probably at least 4 dozen, maybe more, depending on the size. And this is a 2 tablespoon, I'll get it right in a minute, cookie scoop. Now I am putting a little bit more than 2 tablespoons. It's a heaping 2 tablespoons. I guess is what I should say. Okay. And then I'm just gonna kind of do them around in little balls. I'm not weighing these now. If I was doing these to sale, which I'm not, I'm giving them away. But if I was doing them to sale, I would definitely weigh them to make sure that the balls were all equal. It's full of those good toasted pecans, and it makes a world of difference when you toast your pecans. If you don't believe there's a difference in it, you toast them and you see, and you tell me if there's a difference in it. Just a regular pecan out of a package, or if you got pecan trees cracked in your kitchen and out of the shell, give them a toast. You want to toast them for about 1.5 minutes and do them 30 seconds at a time. Take them out and stir them, put them back in, and do that about 3 times. And let them cool. They need to cool. You don't want to add anything warm to your cookie dough or whatever you're fixing with your pecans in it. So make sure they're cool, and then add them to it. And again, I'm just kind of guesstimating this. I'm going to go ahead and get enough ready for 2 panfuls. And I only cook 1 pan of cookies at a time. And I know that if my mama was sitting here, she said, she all fooey, Linda. She said, put 2 pans of cookies in that oven at one time. I'm sorry, but I don't, because I don't want to run the risk of burning cookies on the bottom rack. So I cook 1 pan at a time. And yes, it does take longer. Takes more electricity and all that good stuff. But I'm very particular about my baking. If I go to the trouble to put something together and spend the money for the ingredients, I think I can be particular. I'll just say it like that, because I don't want it to not come out like I want to. And not that it always does. You know, we all make mistakes, but I'll go ahead and do this. Now I'm going to tell y'all what Mike said about these this morning. And I've cooked these before, but it's been a good while since I've cooked them. I think probably a couple of years. And I may be off on that, but I think it's been a couple of years. So he had to run to the post office this morning, and he told me he would eat some when he come back. I asked him this morning, do you want me to cook you some cookies so you can bake you some cookies so you can have them with your coffee? Because Mike likes cookies with his coffee in the morning. And he said, no, I'll eat some when I get back. So when he got back, he fixed him a cup of coffee. And he'll always get, you know, a couple or so and take back there to the office with him. And he come back in here. And I said, okay, what's your verdict? What do you think? And he said, well, you know, he gave my butter pecan cookies at 9.4. Was it a 9.4? He always rates my stuff. It's kind of a inside thing with us. So I asked him, what did he think? He said, well, I'd give him a 9. And then he got another one. You know, it's always funny because, you know, he'll say, yeah, I ate them, didn't I? I liked them, or something like that, but not really brag a lot on them. And then he came back in here and he said, Linda, I don't think I've ever eaten a cookie in a bakery that even come close to how good this cookie is. That was a big compliment. So I think after the second one, he kind of upped the ante a little bit. So that made me happy. Okay, so I've already cooked a dozen. Let's see here. Let's put them back over here so we get them all together. Wind up getting more in some of them than I do the others, and I should be watching a little bit better because some of these are definitely going to be bigger. Another reason you want to try to get them all the same size is because cooking times. And on the recipe for our members, I'm pretty sure that I put 12 minutes on here, because when I cook a big cookie, that's how long I cook them. But you want to check these at 10 minutes. And what I cooked these this morning, the 2 pans that I cooked them for 11 minutes. So, and that's at 375. You want to make sure that your oven is preheated. And, because you don't want to put them in a cold oven. So, I'll tell you in a second how many I got out of this. Looks like one is not going to be quite as big. 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 2 dozen. That's 2.5 dozen. So that's 30. Looks like I got 32 out of this. Now this is this size, little bit more than 2 tablespoons. 32 is what I got out of them. So this one's going to be a little smaller, but that's okay. It's not a whole lot smaller. So I'm going to move these over to the side here because I need some space to work. And y'all may have noticed that the pecan pieces in these cookies are fairly big. That was done on purpose. I did not chop them. I wanted big chunks of cookies. I didn't want little chunks. So that's why the pecan pieces are a little bigger. I'm using our cookie sheets with a silicone pad on it. And I'm going to just place them. I'm cooking 6 cookies at a time. I'm going to place them in the little slotted spots that they have. And then take the heel of your hand and just press them down gently. You don't want it to be flat, but you want it pressed down. If a little bit of something comes out, just press it back in there. Like if you get a piece of chocolate chunk or pecan, just press it back in your cookie. Now this is what's going to give you your shiny top. This is the brushed egg. And again, this is another thing that I'm particular about. I like to beat my eggs with a electric mixer or my cordless mixer. If you don't, you want to beat them with a fork or you want to beat them with a little whisk, that is perfectly fine. I just like mine incorporated really good, so I beat them with a real mixer. And you want to be real careful and just brush the tops of them with the egg. This is what gives them that shiny coat. This is 1 egg, by the way. Set this aside here. And then I've got my raw sugar and I've got my sea salt. Now, I didn't measure this. I just put some in these little bowls. And I'm going to do a little bit of sea salt. I mean, this is the sugar first. I'm going to do a little bit of the raw sugar on top. And you may say, why, you're defeating your purpose if you're putting sugar and salt on top. But you're not. It's a combination. It's like you're getting 2 different flavors at once. And it's really good. Okay, and just a little bit of sea salt on top. And this is flake sea salt. I buy mine from Amazon. You can probably buy it in Walmart, but I buy the packages because I use a lot of sea salt. So I've got a little bit of stuff I'm going to wipe off of that cookie sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and do another pan, and then we're going to bag some cookies. Okay, these are going in the oven. It's 375. I'm going to set the timer for 11 minutes, and then I'll take them out. Okay, let's do another pan. It's like a kind of messy here this morning. Okay. Just mashing them down with the heel of my hand. And these are a little rustic. They're not going to be completely round. You'll see that when I get the ones I have done out. But that's okay because they look, when they come out of the oven, they just look so scrumptious, and you can automatically tell they're homemade. They wasn't cut out with a machine or something. And I like the way these turn out. And I put the sugar on first. And don't worry, whatever's left out of that, I'll throw it out. I won't be putting something back in the jar after I've already used it. Okay, got the second pan done, so let's see, 2, 4, 6. I'll have 2 more pans to cook out of this batch, and then I'll have more to cook when the other gets ready. I'm going to set these aside. It almost looks like it's going to rain outside. And it said in the weather forecast, mostly sunny today, but for some reason it's a little bit overcast, but that's okay. It's still going to be a nice day. Okay, so these are some that I made earlier this morning, and then I'm going to get these off of the cookie rack, the cookie sheet. Now, I didn't take these off the cookie sheet, but normally if I was not live, I would go ahead and take these off of the cookie sheet and not let them completely cool on the cookie sheet. But I love that really pretty gloss on there. Now you do want these completely cool. If you're bagging them to take somewhere, you want them completely cool before you bag them. And I've got some little clear bags here, our Pinky Mall stickers. And this one here, I've already used it this morning, so I'm not gonna use that one. I'm gonna get a fresh one because I don't want it to be messed up. These are, I think these are 3.5 or 4 inch bags. They're self-sealing bags, and they're not real thick, so it wouldn't be something you would want to leave cookies in for a long time. But you can definitely use these, and I just got them from Amazon. You can use these like if you're fixing a cookie basket or you're fixing a little box of cookies to take someone. These would be fine for that. So I'm going to fold these over. They have a little thing on the back that you can remove, a little piece of tape. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't think I got it straight. But these are self-sealing. Actually, the cookie could have been a little bit bigger. There's a little tiny piece of self-sealed. These are very inexpensive. I think 100 was like, I don't know, $6 or $7. Not expensive at all. It makes a pretty presentation. I'm just folding it over, and then I'm going to pull this tape off. And then just press it down. And then I've got our Pinky Mall stickers sticking to my hand. And these are kind of big for this bag, but I'm going to use them anyway. I think little Linda had these made, ordered these from maybe Vistaprint or somewhere. I think that's where she got them. So this is the back of the bag, and I'm just going to put those on top of that. So you can fix a nice little cookie box or cookie basket, or however you want to do it. They look really pretty, and looks like I got that cookie turned around. I thought I had it right, but I didn't. So anyway, very nice little treat for someone to have, like with a cup of coffee, a glass of milk, a cup of tea, whatever kind of beverages that you like to drink and have a snack with. Mike is a coffee drinker. He doesn't keep a pot of coffee on like we grew up with Pinky Paw and Pinky Paw. Pinky Paw and Paulie, I'll get it right in a minute. Both of our granddads drank coffee. If it was 110 degrees, they had a coffee pot on. The old-timey percolator coffee pots. They both drank it black. And I just did not understand how they could drink that stuff. We didn't drink coffee at our house. I very seldom ever remember Mama and Daddy drinking a cup of coffee. They just wasn't coffee drinkers. And so when Mike and I got married, it was news to me. You know, I wasn't used to coffee, and of course, I didn't drink it. But he drinks, I don't know, probably maybe 3 cups a day. They're not big cups. It's made with K-cups, so they're not big cups. But he likes iced coffee. I kind of got him started on that when I brought him a cup home from Chick-fil-A one day, and he really liked it. So, but he makes his own now. He doesn't pay the whatever it is, a cup for it, $4 or whatever. He makes his own, which is a lot cheaper. So anyway, I've got my cookies in the oven. This hasn't been a long video, but I'm glad that y'all joined me. I'll be with Mary tomorrow at her house, and she'll be cooking up something really good. I hope that y'all will share our page. I hope that you will continue to tell your friends about us, and be sure to like each video. We are going to be doing a little different this month on our, last month we gave away something every week. Every time we were on live, we gave away something. This week we're going to do random drawings. We will announce the birthday winner tomorrow for February's birthday. I hope that y'all will join us tomorrow, and be sure to be kind to people and always count your blessings, and get in the kitchen and cook something good. You can cook up a batch of these cookies, and I promise you, they are so much better than a package you'd buy in a store, and it really does not take that much time to do these. It takes a little planning, just like it does for cooking, but your kids and grandkids and your spouse and you will just love a batch of homemade cookies. So thanks again for joining me. We love y'all. God bless. And be sure to count your blessings. Bye-bye.